Hola, señoritas. Welcome to my wedding lessons. I am Hugo Alejandro, your Colombian wedding coach. And today we're going to be talking about survival guide for wedding shows. They might be called wedding expos, bridal show, trade show in your part of the woods, pun intended. But nevertheless, sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes there's just a jungle of vendors and everybody with a different motivation. And I want to give you the tools to get to know your vendors. So with that, I am starting the survival guide from the bottom of my heart because I can save you some pain and suffering from booking the wrong vendors if you just listen to me for a few minutes. So let's buckle up. Sometimes in order to relax, dream, and enjoy, you have to have somebody like me who has been through it for years and hundreds of weddings to realize, okay, these are the people that we should book. These are the people who we should stay away from. So anyways, let's get started with a little bit of my wedding lessons. All right, before I get started with my tips for today, I want to make it very clear that I absolutely love the people that put on the wedding shows. Most of the time, these are family-owned businesses, and they do a great job at gathering wedding vendors. However, I do have a love-hate relationship with some of the vendors and the system behind it because it's basically speed dating for wedding vendors. Hi, how you doing? Book me. No, hi, how you doing? Book me. No, don't book them. Book me instead. Oh man, it's just rough. And if you're not prepared for it, and if it's your first wedding show and you start booking things on your first wedding show, you might book the wrong people just because they have a better salesperson or a more aggressive sales tactic. So anyways, let's get started with point number 1. The first thing I want you to do before you ever start going to any shows or anything, really, make a wedding email. You do not want to use your personal email unless you really like spam. But most of us really don't like spam, so start a wedding email. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or the Smith wedding, just to give you an example. But it takes like a minute to get a Gmail and get started with just a dedicated email. And Gmail's pretty nice because you can put it on your phone very easily. iPhone or Android will put it right in, and you don't have really a problem in checking it. You do have to check it, so don't just create an email for the sake of it. But yes, don't sacrifice your personal email or your work email. It's going to get flooded with all kinds of marketing emails thereafter. The second point that I want to make is protecting your personal phone number. These marketing tactics sometimes involve phone calls, texts, mass emails, and when it comes to your number, I would say you might have an easier time if you just protect it. See if you can get away with not giving it out unless you really like the vendor or venue that you're interviewing. If there has to be some sort of email or some sort of phone number, consider maybe, creating a Google Voice or something to that effect. I don't know if maybe in your particular part of the world there is some sort of service to create a temporary phone number. And I'm not saying go get a burner phone. I mean, this is not Spy Games. But definitely protect your phone number. You're going to get texts. You're going to get voicemails. Sometimes there are marketing agencies behind some of these vendors, and they will hound you until you book. And that's a dirty strategy, and I don't like it. You shouldn't be stressed as you pick your wedding vendors. It's quite the important decision. So with that, the next thing I'm going to tell you is bring your squad. We kind of talked about this in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, please check out the card at the top. But I want you to have those people that are going to encourage you and help you kind of stay away from predators, basically. If there is a guy or a girl or somebody in your group of friends that is a really good judge of character and that is always kind of protecting you from, some of your blind spots, bring him as part of the squad. We want people who have experience. If you have a lawyer, by the way, somewhere in your squad or in your group of friends, that will come in very, very handy, because you have to sign a lot of contracts, and I will speak on that in a lot more detail. But yes, bring your squad, and with that, we also want to bring the decision makers. Sometimes it is just easier to get through a wedding show, maybe not your first one, but the second one or third one, if you have right there and then your parents or anybody who is supporting you financially in this journey. If it's just the two of you, then it is what it is. But if you have somebody else that is a decision maker and is going to be contributing to your budget, it is easier if you bring them. From there, I'm going to tell you, don't bring the kids. So the fifth tip that I'm going to give you is get a sitter. Kids are going to absolutely distract you from making some of these decisions with a calm, cool, and collected mind. And hey, I have 3 kids myself, so it's not like I hate them. I absolutely love my kids, but I don't bring them to very important moments right before I have to make some really crucial decisions and sign contracts and pay deposits. So yes, get a sitter, make it a day where you're gonna go and you're gonna have fun interviewing people. But that's it. You're interviewing. You don't need to be any more overwhelmed, because sometimes it's just overwhelming the amount of people who are fighting, absolutely fighting for your attention. It's flattering, but yes, you need to probably leave the kids at home. The next tip that I want to give you is that you want to bookmark your favorite vendors or venues. I would recommend something like bringing a notepad and making some notes. Start making a list of the things that you felt or that you liked when you were interviewing different people, or maybe somebody in your squad can be your note taker. And actually, I saw a pretty good tip recently on TikTok, and I will give credit where credit is due, but you can bring 2 different bags. Bring a bag that is to keep and one to trash. And this was from Beautiful Occasions on TikTok. Look her up. Brittany's an amazing planner, so shout out to Brittany. And yes, this tip I thought was genius. Bring 2 bags, one to keep, one to discard. So if you want to be polite and take every brochure and card that comes your way, fine. But you don't want to have hundreds of business cards in that bag. You're not gonna remember who was who, even if there are pictures. It's like going house shopping. By the end of it, you have seen so many options, you remember none of them. So write on the business cards of your keep bag, hey, I really like this guy, or here's a promotion, or here's something else that was remarkable, the way you felt, or something like that, so that you can put it on the keep bag and then revisit that later on and help you in the decision-making process. With that, I would also tell you that you need to make sure that you're not rushed into a decision. So no rush, sleep on it. I tell people, even who are going to go car shopping, to step away from the parking lot and to go home, sleep on it, and then come back to make a decision. If you make a decision the very first day that you met somebody, you are basically signing up for a blind date. And it's up to how that person made you feel. It's up to the sales pitch. It's up to the discount. And sometimes those things are misleading. All of us, wedding vendors and venue owners, are going to put the most charming people that make you feel the most comfortable at the sales table if we can. So again, don't fall for the emotional approach. You need to go home, sleep on it, compare options, do a little bit more research, ask friends and family and other vendors, hey, what do you think about this guy or that guy? I'm down to 2 or 3 options. Which one would you say? But you don't want to be rushed into a decision the day of a wedding show, because those shows are specifically made to make you feel like there's a sense of urgency, and if I don't act now, I am definitely going to miss out on something. And listen, some of the best quality vendors don't even go to wedding shows. shows, or don't even play these tactics. Sometimes wedding shows make you feel like these are all the options, the only options available in the city, but there are certain vendors that will just not do wedding shows. They will catch just referrals, or I don't know. The more aggressive somebody is at the sales table, the less I would trust them. So keep that in the back of your mind. And with that, I would also, along the same lines, tell you, shop local. You're gonna face, or you're gonna encounter, a lot of companies, and getting to know the company behind the name or the salesperson that you're meeting is very important. Are they a local company? Or are they a huge company or a small company? Is it just a one-man show, and if they get sick, what happens? Who comes to do my wedding? Or is it a mid-size? Like, I would recommend mid-size and local. Those two things, I think, are great. After 2020, you have to have contingencies. If somebody catches a virus the day of your wedding, or leading up to your wedding, what's going to happen? And those are questions you want to ask. So one-man shows I wouldn't necessarily trust unless they can give you a great answer to their plan B if they get sick. Mid-sized companies that are local are definitely, they have a lot more skin in the game. But when it comes to really big outfits, people that just count you as a number, you're gonna probably be sorry that you signed up for them, because normally they're cheaper, they're more aggressive, they have really sharp marketing and sales strategies, but when it comes to delivering, basically they burn people out just as fast as they recruit them. So be careful with the big operations. The bigger the company, if it's a multi-state operation, if it's an international operation, I would be careful, and I would just basically warn you.
Shark warning!
All right, it is unavoidable to throw a shark warning at you in this subject. So yes, we've been talking about it. So who, in my opinion, are the sharks? The people who put so much into selling to you, but they're not very good at servicing the day of your wedding. When the multi-state operation or the big box mart of weddings comes at you, they're going to be charming. They're going to use emotional tactics. They're going to give you just, some of the biggest discounts or most aggressive giveaways. And that's also one of the things that I want you to keep in mind. Giveaways sometimes are good, but most of the best vendors that I know in my town actually don't play these games at all. So if somebody's playing marketing games and sales games with you, you might be like, is this what a good vendor, like somebody who's established, tried and tested, would be doing to me? And anyways, I'll let you follow your gut when it comes to that decision, but please be careful when there are marketing tactics or pressure, when you feel like, oh my gosh, this is it. You have to gauge it. The only time that we personally and my companies do that is when we have more than one person interested on the last spot of the day, and we actually have to create a sense of urgency and say, hey, you know what, you were first in line and we're about to get booked out, and we don't overbook, so please make a decision soon. But other than that, we really try to stay away from that, and I think it speaks of the caliber of people's integrity and also their intentions behind the scenes. So please be very, very careful. Not everybody, again, that comes to a wedding show has your best interest in mind. In fact, there is a meme that I want to show you. You may have seen this before, but it is one of those memes that rotates around on Black Friday. And anyways, so it is kind of one of the funny things that happens at wedding shows as well, that to create urgency, people make it look like you're getting this amazing discount. And so here we have William Wallace. If you've ever seen the movie Braveheart, then there's that moment when he's telling everybody, hold, and then charge. And when it comes to Black Friday, it's the exact same price they offer any other time. It's just that they marked off a ridiculous original price or retail price to make you feel like, oh my gosh, these discounts are huge. And what I see a lot in the shark category is people having you rotate the wheel, or there's a huge coupon, or after the fact they spam you with, hey, you're the lucky winner of $500 off and book now. So those are tactics that are made to make you think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money off. This is a huge discount. I need to take care of this as soon as possible. Hey, when does it expire? Oh, it expires in 12 hours. And then you're rushed to make an emotional decision based on your budget, which I totally understand, but it's not in your best interest, because again, most of the best vendors who have been tried and tested in the industry are not going to be rushing to give these huge discounts. They just want to book one person or two per date, and that's it. So I do have a lot of respect for the people who book or underbook themselves so that they can pay more attention to their brides. And if your budget doesn't allow it, and if it's a category where you don't have to have, the best vendor possible, then fine. Book the discounts, but you have to decide which of these vendors are the absolute must and what kind of wedding and reception you want to have. So in the days to come, I will be showing you strategies depending on some of the most common emphasis that people take, if it's entertainment, if it's food, if it is destinations. There are different vendors that you definitely want to book at the top of the price range or mid-range, but you don't want to go cheap on. And then there are others that you don't necessarily have to, pay an arm and a leg for their services. Hopefully you see my heart through all of this. I know it's a lot of information. I hope you take my advice. I hope you protect your information, your phone number, your email. I hope you bring people that you can bounce ideas from. And I hope that this, in the end, means that you can relax, dream, and enjoy the wedding of your dreams. So that is basically all I have for you. Let me know in the comments. We want to know what you think. If we should expand on any of this, information, I'm more than happy to make additional videos. And then, again, send me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and then also hit the little bell so that you know exactly when we post the next thing. And with that, I will tell you that I don't always make videos about wedding shows, but when I do it right here at My Wedding Lessons. Are you ready to party? Let's do it, my friends.